Well, hello and welcome to the Nature Journal Show. I'm just changing my socks like Mr. Rogers and getting my little wood stove going here to stay warm in the Nature Journal bus where I am staying for the entire month of the Wild Wonder Conference. Here you can see my steering wheel of curiosity, and curiosity was one of the main topics today. Jack had an unexpected keynote today because of some last minute changes in the speaker lineup, and we got a bonus early class from him, and I wasn't able to switch gears to make it to his landscapito class. But right now I'm about to share my nature journal pages and sketch notes from the second day of the Wild Wonder Conference 2023. So I'm just going to switch over to my other camera here, which I got figured out for today. And I'm going to show you some of my nature journal pages from today. It was a super great day. Oh, I see Ray Bonto's here, Tamara's here. And I'm just going to go over quickly some of my stuff from today. I did miss a teeny bit of the poem and nature journal challenge, but what I've been doing is I've been using my cell phone and having Zoom on my cell phone. I could be eating breakfast, for example, and I could still hear the poem at first thing in the morning with John Muir Laws. And the challenge for today was to see beyond the skin into the wonder of something such as a peach. It was a beautiful poem about peaches, and I heard Ray Bonto got to eat peaches. I definitely wanted to eat peaches after that poem. However, what I did get to do was I got to take a class with Alex Boone. Even though the class was about colored pencils, I didn't use colored pencils, but I learned a lot from the class. He has a really cool style, and he went into great detail describing how to go about creating one of his iconic pages or using the style that he uses. And Alex is an experienced and professional nature journaler and online instructor, and it really showed up in this class because every single time you wanted to see a different perspective, he had things set up so that you could see him drawing. You could see his reference photo. You could see the photos from when he went out in the field. Everything was super well organized. It was a great class. I definitely recommend going back. And not only that, I kept finding myself writing down all of these amazing tips that he was sharing. And I'm not going to share all of them right now because you should watch his video for that. But even though I didn't have the colored pencils, this is the page that I did where I tried to use my own photos from a recent trip and sort of compile them in the way that he does to create one of his pages. So this is an example of how you can learn from a class without necessarily doing exactly what the teacher says. And then the next thing that I made it to after that, I missed Kate Ryder's class. And because I was working on this, that is something you can do. If one of the classes feels like something that really draws your attention, you can continue to work on it and maybe miss the next class and watch it as a recording. However, I was sad later when I heard how amazing Kate Ryder's class was. Next thing for me was Pencil Miles. I facilitated the group on languages. It was really interesting to talk about linguistic diversity in that group with a couple of folks. Ray Bonto was there. It was really interesting, and I think it's a conversation we need to have more in the nature journaling community is how can nature journaling be translated in more languages? What does it mean to nature journal in different languages? And maybe we can just create a support group for all the multilingual or bilingual people out there, or the people that are nature journaling in languages that are not English or other types of English, because I think that is an important aspect too. That is kind of a technical topic I want to get into more right now, but that was a fun breakout room. And then next, I also am writing down teaching tips because I learned a lot of stuff from Jack's class the other day, Alex's class today, and Ivea's class. And this was from Ivea's class. It was a virtual field trip, and the way she mixed in opportunities for us to draw from the very beginning while sharing a lot of really technical information and cutting edge information about how nature journaling can be used in applied ways, not just as our own personal feel good art hobby, but as a way to save the environment. Ivea is one of the only people that I know of that is really using nature journaling in a stewardship, conservation, restoration type way. And here is the one of the tools she uses, the weed wrench. So this was a very cool class, very well organized, and I think on a topic that is super important. So that was a really fun class to do with Eve and a virtual field trip. After that, the next class that I was able to take was this maps class with Roseanne Hanson. Roseanne does a ton of maps, so I was excited to learn from her because I am very interested in incorporating more maps in my nature journal. She shared lots of good stuff. There were some interesting comments in the Q&A that I'm not going to mention right now, but I got inspired to try one of these. She talked about how you can fold up paper like this, and I think it is such a cool way to fold up paper. Oh, I hope some people aren't getting confused that I started early because I said I was going to start at 9:30, but the backstage started late. So here's an example of how when something from one of the classes inspires you, you can take it and run with it. So I saw how she was describing these linear or strip maps. She called them linear or strip maps. And I had never even heard of these, but they're like these ancient maps that would be sometimes in these long strips like this. And there could even be multiple ones on a single page, and they would show a voyage. So they make a lot of sense practically, especially in the olden days, and they would show these voyages perhaps of multi-day walking trips with multiple destinations and places that stood out, landmarks along the way. And then this one could start from the top, and maybe you have to walk down this way, and it would show like a walking trail. And I thought that would be something that would be so useful in a nature journal. And she showed how she creates accordion ones. I just happen to have some of this watercolor paper lying around, so I created this one showing where I am. So when there's a class such as Roseanne's today, where she is showing images from Alaska, and she is painting a map in Alaska, you could potentially take a lot of the recommendations and tips she's giving and do something in your area or apply it to something that is more connected to you. So I actually created a map showing where I'm currently living. This is the bus where I'm living up on top of a hill, and here are all the other places that I can walk to and a road. And this all folds out. The only problem is this is a brand new journal that I started during Wild Wonder. And whenever you glue in something really fat on one of these early pages in your nature journal, what that means is from now on, as I flip the page, I'm going to have a little bit of a bump there whenever I have to draw on this side. But I have basically zero regrets about this map, and I'm glad I used this little bit of watercolor paper. You could also put one in. I might even just make it so it folds like this, but it's kind of cool to be able to extend it so long. And talk about something that was really easy to do with just a little bit of extra watercolor paper. And I did all that during her class. It was very inspiring. I had the opportunity to go eat pizza for dinner, and it was going to be really good pizza. And I'm sad. I'm still sad a little bit that I didn't, but I shifted gears because I wanted to make it to Jack's keynote about curiosity. This got shifted today. So there was a little bit of a shift in today's schedule, because sometimes things at conferences like this, no matter how much time people spend organizing, I heard they spend over 1,000 hours preparing for this event with over 100 people working on it, many of them volunteers. Despite all of that, it's possible that things happen in life, and so Amy Nematuzatato, she had to cancel at the last minute. We don't know why or anything like that, but she was going to give a talk, a class, and a keynote tonight. So everything got shifted. And Jack gave a class, which I missed, on landscape painting, which is one of my favorite. And then he gave the keynote. And even though I missed his class, I knew I could not miss his keynote. It was about curiosity, and I knew it was going to be good. He puts a lot of thought into these talks that he gives, and he did not disappoint. I tried to do a bunch of sketchnoting during the whole thing. One of the things that he talked about is just how much in nature we don't understand and how to have intellectual humility in nature. He showed some amazing imagery from lightning, videos of lightning, videos um, of weird physics phenomenons with little balls swinging back and forth, a whole bunch of cool stuff. And he talked about this idea of things we don't understand and how our brain tries to do this thing where it tries to explain what we're seeing. We have to get past that point. We have to get past that point by either writing it down or saying it aloud. And he talked about his own personal journey of trying to go further with his curiosity and acknowledge when he doesn't understand things in the world. He talked about the 3 questions, which he's talked about before. Let's see questions that can be observed and answered. Could it be questions that can use inference and observation to answer? Sometimes little micro experiments can help answer these could it be questions. And then let it be questions that cannot be answered by observation and inference. These are the domain of philosophy and religion. He also talked about this idea of how we need to try to make friends with people who have different ideas than we do, and not only listen to people who have the same ideas as we do. Here I included a really funny part that he said, a quote. He said, "Teach me, tomato," because he found this weird rotten tomato that turned into this whole curiosity deep dive for him. He talked about how you have to get your observations and your brain down on paper. I tried to quickly sketch some aspects of that. This symbol of eyes popping out is my way of showing something that is surprising or awe. And he talked about how the brain is very limited. We need to get stuff down on paper so that we can have feedback and kind of move a little bit closer towards lifelong learning and changing our mind. He mentioned the importance of eating a nice, big, yummy slice of humble pie and how humility can help us learn so much more in nature. Looking for opportunities to change our mind was one of the last things that he left us with. And I'm telling you, I was on the verge of tears at the end of his talk, which isn't the first time that I've almost cried at one of Jack's talks. So let me sit back down by the fire. Let's see how this fire is doing down here. Oh no, it's getting kind of smoky in there. But don't ever miss one of John Muir Law's keynotes if you can help it. Seeing it live is great, but as you know, these videos are getting processed really quickly. So for example, I went in Shed on accident earlier today and clicked a second time on Ivea's class, which was wonderful. And the video popped up showing that the video recording of her class was ready in only a few hours after the live class. So there are people working on it. That was my light running out. There are people working on it, and these classes are being turned into videos really quickly. So if you miss one, you can get on the video. That's my recap from today. I can't talk about Jack's Landscape Eco class because I missed that one. I can't really say too much about Kate Ryder's class, even though I heard it was amazing and really, really creative. Those are all of the ones that I missed. It was a great day. So make sure you take care of your self-care. I see that Ray Bonto is here. It's super late at night or early in the morning in London. So try to find the balance between getting motivated. Last year, I went to every single class, every single session, and find the balance with your self-care. So see you all tomorrow, everybody. Get some good rest. Prepare for your classes. It's going to be another awesome day. And you can see little tidbits during the day on my Instagram, or you can see my recap at the end of the day on my YouTube. All right, bye.